Hello, welcome to my channel, Wing Spiritual Clarity. My name's Wendy Wing. I'm doing a reading for the collective. Hello, collective. So I am not tapping into one person's specific energies. I'm tuning into the collective. So take what resonates and leave the rest. If you would like a reading where I tune into your specific energies, the link to schedule your own appointment is in the description box below. All right, collective. So right out of the box, this looks like it's major arcana. That's setting the basis for the reading. So if you are going through a difficult time, it's not just like Tuesday is a tough day. It is core issues that you're working through. So let's take a look, see. Let's get closer. So collective, in the past, you were in the energy of blossom. This has like the star or sun type of energy. Very, to me, it's manifesting something that's coming from their heart space and nurturing it and focusing on it and allowing it to appear into the 3D, allowing it to grow and blossom into this world. All right, so what are you creating? Ooh, that's a lot of cards. That's half the deck. Okay, so what does the collective need to know about blossom? So sometime in your past, collective, you started setting boundaries, becoming much more clear, perceptive. It feels like kind of an awakening to truth about what's going on. I get this feeling like you might have been a bit unconscious to yourself and your surroundings. So maybe in a partnership, you started seeing the truth about a partnership that you were in. Maybe seeing the structure of the relationship, the truth of how you were showing up and how your partner was showing up. And as you woke up, there was this self-doubt. You're realizing there was this lack of self-awareness, a self-loathing. And there feels like a punishment element. Someone was ignoring the call to wake up. This might be your partner you were waking up and seeing the truth and wanting to change the structure of the relationship. And your partner, I feel like your partner was very happy with the way things were. I mean, unhappy in the relationship, but I don't know how else to be, is what I'm getting. And so this created a lot of disharmony and distrust, a lack of communication and tension, and a breakup. Felt like you put a lot into this relationship. I feel like both of you put a lot into this relationship. And neither of you got out of it what you wanted. Both of you felt like this was just a lot of work and without any happiness. Neither of you felt supported. And again, there was a breakdown in communication and a conflict in the home. I get the feeling that an inability to communicate. I feel like you started learning how to communicate with aspects of yourself. And when you communicated that to your partner, like, I'm seeing these things about our relationship that aren't working. I'm seeing them about myself, and I'm seeing them about you, that we're in this dance that's very unfulfilling. And I get the feeling that it was kind of like having that apple in the Garden of Eden and seeing things clearly, have consciousness. And it created a lot of fear in your partner's space. A fear of exposing ego. It feels like you were like, hey, I feel like our egos are doing this. And it feels like they went into a self-protective mode, like their ego working really hard to protect itself. It felt like you seeing things from a broader perspective and setting up clear boundaries was very upsetting for your partner's ego, because maybe you had didn't have boundaries or very few boundaries. And so limiting access to yourself felt like an abandonment or a punishment. And then that's the punishment that came out. Then there was this punishing aspect from your partner because their ego was afraid of dying, a wounded ego. And instead of allowing for an ego death, they gave into their fear and allowed their ego to take over. And who was causing this, was you. You collective are the source of this pain and fear, for wanting to see things clearly and not continue with the unconscious agreements in the relationship. It felt like you were like, let's look at these unconscious ways that we've been behaving and let go of the ones that don't work for us, and create conscious agreements. And just feeling this panic in their space, because that would mean that they would have to admit fault. They would have to look at themselves clearly and unbiased, instead of from being righteous and right. And feels like the more you blossomed, the more you wanted to wake up, the more they dug in. I feel from your partner's perspective, you created a betrayal of the relationship. I'm setting aside right or wrong. I'm just trying to understand and see how both sides are viewing this, because it feels very painful on both sides. And whenever pain or fear or uncomfortable emotions arise, it's often, I know it's been my tendency to shut down and isolate, to protect myself, to harden from those feelings. And it is my hope to soften, to allow what comes up in my life to be the seed of awakening, to awaken more, of not to be righteous, but to understand myself and others, to understand my own insanity, and have compassion, therefore, for others. To understand how we get so stuck in our story and our point of view. How I'm seeing that how you behaved, collective, was right for you. And I'm seeing how your partner behaved was what they felt was right for them. They were operating more from pain and fear and programs of punishment and control, trying to hold on to who they believe they are. An old paradigm that seems to be lightening up, where someone's right and then someone has to be wrong, instead of bringing compassion to the whole situation. This is just wildly painful. It looks like you spent a lot of time in this connection avoiding conflict. It feels like your vibrations just went in different directions. And I think that's also why the communication, there was this breakdown of communication, is you're tuning into two different vibrations. And so there's no way to connect. I feel each person feels that they were abandoned in some way. It was triggering a lot of abandonment issues. As your vibration rose and you were willing to see aspects about yourself and others and the situation in a more broader standpoint, it was very painful for this person because they didn't want to take that journey. All right. In present time, you're in the energy of balance, balancing out the masculine and feminine, finding harmony. It's really wonderful. We each have access to masculine and feminine energies. And just like the picture on the left side of the body is, we tend to run our feminine energy more, and then the right side is associated with the masculine energy. How lucky are we that we have access to both of those energies? That if we practice, we can consciously decide, I'm going to run more masculine energy today because I need to get this, this, and this done. I need to nurture and hold space for somebody. I'm going to be more in my feminine energy, which isn't about getting somewhere. It's about being where you are and allowing. So right now it looks like you might be in a bit of a confused space. Maybe there's something that you're unwilling to see. You might be feeling empty, blocked. Feels like you're working on that self-love and balancing your energies. And yet it's like, I feel like there's wanting that love and from someone else and not feeling it. There's also this repressing emotions, like this feeling uncomfortable emotions is bad, instead of just being and allowing yourself to drop the storyline and feel. How am I feeling today? Can I tune in to where I'm feeling tense? Where am I feeling tension? Where am I feeling sadness? Am I feeling unempowered? Where am I holding on to the energy of unempowered? Without judging or trying to shift, but just being with those emotions that you have and allowing them to flow through you. There's something changing in your environment. Maybe maybe a lot's changing in your environment, and there's the fear of the unknown, fear of losing. Feels hard to walk away. Maybe that's an emotion to tune into, the fear of change. Where am I feeling within my space, like a fear of the unknown? I'm feeling it in my solar plexus chakra, like around the bottom of my ribs. A grief and loss in my heart space. Tension and kind of an anxiety in my throat, like and shoulders. Where are you feeling uncomfortable emotions? Can you make it okay to feel those things? It looks like on the other side of feeling these things, of working with the present time, what's coming up, what's on the other side is independence. Being able to take care of yourself. Abundance. There's something about repressed emotions. I'm getting that in this relationship in the past, maybe how you were raised as well, there are good emotions and bad emotions. There are wanted emotions and unwanted. And when you were growing up, if you cried or were angry or jealous or any of the unwanted bad emotions, you were bad. They're just emotions. It's important to feel. I think where we get messed up is when we don't want to feel those emotions and we start projecting blame at the person who triggered these emotions within us. Maybe that's how our parents taught us to perceive things, to try to control the environment instead of working on themselves. Again, this punishment. Do you punish yourself when you're feeling bad, when you're feeling uncomfortable emotions, when you are maybe triggered, when something is activated in your space? Do you want to escape those emotions because they're quote unquote bad? Do you tell yourself that you're bad because you're feeling those emotions? I feel like there's this punishment again coming out, like an inner critic, that's angry, disappointed if you're not feeling happy at all times, or if you're not perceived by others as being happy at all times. Then, and if you're struggling is bad. Maybe struggling, we could switch the perception from struggling with emotions as a rich soil for change to grow from. I'm feeling resentment. I'm wanting revenge. Dropping the storyline and just tuning in to how that feels, how that energy affects your body. Does it make you want to escape and take a drink? Does it make you want to escape and switch to something else? Can you sit with your own discomfort? I find that when I am willing and able, feeling brave enough to sit with my difficult emotions, that um, usually it's because I've repressed them for a long time, for a while, like escaping or just distractions. I've got just so many tools to not feel that I've practiced my whole life. And then I know that I'm avoiding feeling. And so I'll finally sit and I'll meditate and quiet the storyline and get in touch with the really difficult emotions that are arising. And I'll just hold space and breathe through it, breathe in some compassion. Just stay with myself, just be with myself, not trying to fix anything, not trying to make anything different than what it is. And once I finally feel those emotions and allow them to dissipate, and sometimes when I've been avoiding feeling for a long time, it takes quite a bit, and there's might be waves, and then I feel better, and then another wave of emotions to clear. I'll have a really good cry. And and then on the other side of that, maybe the next day, it's like I've then cleared space for something new and wonderful to come in, a new possibility. I don't have to fill my space with escaping and trying to distract myself either. So it creates this space for something new to come in. When I'm willing to sit with my fear, saying, oh, this is just the fear of the unknown is just really getting me. And then I'm feeling anxious. What are the qualities of anxiousness that I'm feeling? And that bravery, that willing to stay in that energy and to feel those energies instead of trying to harden my heart and create a smaller and smaller space so I can feel safe. Instead, I open up and open my heart up to those tender feelings, those tough emotions. And I create a sense of bravery uh, to just be with whatever arises. And what's beautiful is that it creates space, then it clears space for something new and unexpected to come in. Maybe new love coming in. It doesn't have to be from a partner, that new love. It could be a hello from a bird. Something delightful now that you have this more space, and you're not so caught up in a storyline, and that you are able then to be present with something that arises. Maybe because staying in a storyline, whatever that storyline is, and the righteousness, and I am right and they are wrong and they did this, and that then I end up walking through my day and I'm in that story, no matter how long ago that happened. And I'm missing a lot of opportunities to notice and be present with something beautiful in the environment. When you're in that storyline and you're walking through your day, but you're still not really present because you're running that story in your head, you miss opportunities. You're not going to be at the same vibration as someone who is looking for love, because you're not in the energy of love. You're in the energy of revenge and pain and fear and grief, or whatever mixture. Okay. So your higher self collective is in the energy of love. So your higher self is saying, there's harmony. There's a lot of harmony in this reading. There's a lot of partnership energy. There's a lot of finding the balance within so you can meet others who are balanced outside, people who are aligned with your values. The real meaning of like unconditional love, loving yourself, not trying to cut yourself away from the parts of yourself that you don't find pleasing, that are, quote, bad, that are unwanted. Instead, a friendliness and an openness to even those parts of yourself that you try to push away and cut off and are embarrassed of. And instead, it feels like creating a friendliness with parts of yourself that you don't find, that you're not welcoming, and instead acknowledging, not trying to hide them from yourselves and self, not trying to hide your subconscious and those aspects that you're embarrassed of and you don't like about yourself, not trying to hide them from yourself and not trying to hide them from others, to acknowledge them, to bring them out into the light, to love yourself completely as best you can in any moment. This takes a lot of self-discipline. When you're feeling stuck and you're wanting things in your environment to change, the real change, where your power is here within you. To let go of needing to be perfect. I mean, whose idea of perfection would you go after? It feels like how to love aspects of yourself that you feel are unlovable. Figuring out how to work with your ego. Maybe your ego, there's something deliciously ego satisfying about being right and others being wrong, being righteous, winning. Like that, just is there, this might just be for a few of you, Is there something about this past relationship and how painful it was, at least at the end, and how things went down, where you can maybe see that at some point in your life, the script was switched and you were the person not wanting to change the relationship. You were the one that was not interested in changing. You were the one that became very punishing. Just wondering. Is there part of you that still wants to win? That wants the person, the partner, to be bad, and because it hurts so much. There's just so much pain in this past relationship, and I feel this like wanting that person to suffer, or because there's this practice of punishment. It feels like the ego. I feel like this old way of being, and maybe even in current times, like what you're working through has made you very exhausted and burnout. It's so interesting what's been coming out in the last several days in the readings, or this exhaustion, and then also this restlessness, like this need to move forward. Like I want to get out of this. And maybe both are a part of trying to avoid feeling without the storyline, without making someone wrong in this, but just feeling what you're feeling with the intention of allowing whatever arises to be the seed of your awakening. How can I look at this in a way that creates more growth and more compassion and more loving within me? How can I love myself enough to set very clear boundaries? How can I love myself enough to notice when someone says or does something that is not in alignment with me? Can I communicate that in a way so I teach myself that I can take care of myself? How can I open up to my own suffering and stay and be with myself in those really difficult times, so I can be more brave and more comfortable with what's uncomfortable, instead of trying to make my world small enough so I and walled off and protected, so I never have to feel those things again. Instead, having a bravery to feel those things, to be to be an expert at the energy of fear, to be an expert of going within and feeling fear, of facing it within, of going in and feeling the painful emotions. So whenever I go out into the world, I am a beacon of strength, but I don't have to hide behind walls. I don't have to put up walls to my heart. How can I release judgment and not stop being so judgmental to myself? And then find that compassion so I don't judge others. How can I bring some softness to the situation? Collective, your challenge right now is release. This is reminding me of Tonglen practice, Tonglin, I believe, Len. It's a Pema Chodron does talks a lot about Tonglen practice. And this picture really makes me feel that. So Pema Chodron suggests a meditation and where you breathe in the dark, dense, difficult, uncomfortable feelings, and on the out breath you release with light. On the in breath, breathing in what's uncomfortable, painful, fearful through every pore of your body, and then on the out breath, releasing light. It goes against it helps clear the ego, because the ego wants to grasp and hold on to things that are good and be greedy with it, and because you never know when that feeling is going to come again, and to push away what's unwanted and uncomfortable. And so by breathing in and being willing to feel these uncomfortable things and then sending out and giving to the world light, then you start creating new ways of thinking about pain and comfort and love. Breathing in fear and pain and breathing out a warm cup of coffee, sending that comfort energy to someone or people or just to the world. Breathing in, not being enough. Breathing out, belonging. I feel like this is an option. This is a practice of how to release pain, how to change the negative self-talk, how to forgive yourself, forgive others, and recover and move on, how to not carry this pain with you, how to not identify with this pain, and instead feel like a tide coming in and going out, that it's transitory, it's not permanent. Just noticing when things arise, and instead of trying to escape or avoid or blame, and catching it's like saying, oh, I am really sure that that person just did something. That is a wonderful thing I'm going to do Tonglen with, like that feeling of blame, of projecting. You see that neighbor who is really difficult and triggers you, and instead like of giving into the storyline, like I'm going to sit, like why is that so uncomfortable? Why am I perceiving what they're doing as making them bad instead of the universe trying to wake me up? What if this painful situations are a gift from the universe to try to get your attention, to wake up? Don't run away. See this. Maybe sometimes we're so asleep that it takes some really painful experiences to get us to wake up. Maybe we make a big deal out of our story. Maybe we'd feel better if we took some time to view this as a dream. This is all a dream. Going to sleep is a dream. Waking up is a dream. Dying is a dream. Living is a dream. Like not buying into the story. I feel like the story and the ego are very interrelated, connected. The ego wants the story where you never make a mistake and you're always the good guy. Instead of waking up to your own humanity. I feel like the avoiding difficult emotions and closing off your heart, maybe creating walls and doors and barbed wire and trying to keep those difficult people and emotions out is might work at first and you feel a sense of comfort, but you then lose bravery and your world becomes really small and you're carrying that weight and exhaustion because you're carrying all these emotions and all this fear. All right, collective, that's your reading for today. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for all your comments and likes, and welcome new subscribers and welcome back subscribers. I really appreciate all of you so much. Thanks. Bye.